There's a silence between heaven and earth that speaks your name. Not the name others call you, but the name your soul remembers. And today, in a sacred and unseen moment, your name was whispered again. In a conversation not of lips but of hearts. A conversation held in spirit, between the one who cannot forget you, and the angels who have never left your side. The angels say, "This person spoke of you not in words, but in longing." It wasn't casual. It wasn't fleeting. It was the kind of moment when someone reflects on their life and whispers into the unseen, "I wish they were here." And in that quiet yearning, your essence arrived. You were felt. You see, heaven has orchestrated this bond not just for romance, but for redemption. You are not here to chase. You are here because you were sent. The divine placed you like light on their shadow. Like morning after a long restless night. And the moment your energy touched theirs, something ancient stirred. This isn't the type of love that gets forgotten. This is the kind of presence that lingers in every sacred silence. The kind of name that shows up in dreams and prayers. You didn't need to speak louder. You were already echoing. You didn't need to try harder. You were already unforgettable. And now the veil is lifting. Slowly, gently, they are starting to understand who you are. Not just someone they met, but someone heaven aligned. For you did not receive a spirit that makes you a slave again to fear, but you received the spirit of sonship. Romans 8 verse 15. There is a wall around their heart, built not with malice, but with memory. Every brick was shaped by something they never told anyone. A goodbye that hurt more than it should have. A promise that turned into silence. A moment when they gave too much, and received too little. You felt it, didn't you? That hesitation. That holding back. That invisible pause when everything seemed ready to bloom, and yet they stepped away. The angels say, they are not resisting you. They are resisting pain. Because what you awakened in them is something sacred and terrifying. You reminded them of a love that doesn't ask for masks. A love that doesn't demand performance. And for someone who has lived behind invisible armor, that kind of truth feels like fire. They want to come closer. And they also want to run. Not because of you, but because you are the first mirror that shows them what they still need to heal. You touched something too deep, too real, too raw. And so they push. They hide. They pretend not to care. But beneath every distant gesture, there is a question trembling. Will you still be here if I fall apart? The angels are working on this wall. Not to break it down violently, but to melt it, layer by layer, with the warmth of revelation. Because this love you carry, it doesn't force. It waits. It whispers, I see you. Even now. And one day, they will believe it. There's a truth that your soul has always known. Love should never ask you to dim your light. Even when you care deeply. Even when you feel their energy pulsing in your dreams. Even when the silence hurts more than words ever could, you're still allowed to choose yourself. The angels say, your glow is sacred. Do not silence it to soothe someone else's fear. This person is in process. But so are you. And the journey you are on does not require abandonment of your essence. Your heart is not a waiting room. Your worth is not postponed until someone else is ready. You've spent too many seasons pouring from a cup that no one bothered to refill. But not this time. This time, you are being called to nurture the divine in you. Light your candle. Speak your truth. Rest without guilt. Because the more you honor your own energy, the more you anchor this connection in something real. They may feel overwhelmed. They may withdraw. But your task is not to fix them. Your task is to remain whole. To remember that the right person will never require your exhaustion to love you. And when they look at you again, truly look, they must see you as radiant, not diminished. Because that radiance, that glow, that steady flame in your chest, that's what called their soul home in the first place. They see themselves in your eyes, and that frightens them. Because when you entered their life, you didn't just bring love. You brought light. And that light, though beautiful, reveals everything hidden beneath the surface. The angels say, you became their mirror, and now they can't unsee. It's not that you triggered their wounds. You simply reflected what was already there. The parts they buried. The dreams they abandoned. The fears they learned to mute. And now, standing before your unwavering truth, they are forced to confront their own. You weren't sent to fix them. But your presence, your depth, your courage to be real, brought something up from the depths of their soul. This is why they feel torn. Drawn to you by an invisible force, yet held back by the parts of themselves they still don't understand. They may even blame you for the storm, when all you did was bring clarity. But the storm isn't your fault. It's the soul waking up. An awakening is messy. So if they turn away, know this, they're not rejecting you. They're resisting the mirror. They're resisting the love that dares to see through every layer. But no mirror ever lies. And eventually they will return, not for your reflection, but to face their own. It begins quietly. Not with fireworks, not with grand confessions, but with stillness. With a sudden moment when they hear your name in a song they didn't mean to play. Or when your laughter lingers longer than it should in their memory. The angels whisper, they are waking up to what their heart already knew. There's a gentle unraveling happening inside them. A loosening of the old narratives they clung to. Beliefs like I'm not ready, or I don't deserve this. Those beliefs are beginning to crack. And you were the earthquake. Not because you demanded change, but because your energy made it impossible for them to keep pretending. Now, they're noticing things they used to ignore. The weight of your absence. The ache in their chest when they think of what might have been. The pull toward you, even in silence. This is not the end. It's the shift. A sacred moment when something dormant stirs in the soul and whispers, look again. They may not speak it aloud, but their spirit is already reaching for you. And no, they might not be ready to act on it today. But the angels assure you, the awakening has begun. And once it starts, nothing can stop it. They leave. They return. They leave again. And each time, you wonder, was it something I did? Something I said? But the angels say, this isn't your doing. This is their cycle. A loop established long before you. A pattern born from the places where love once hurt too much, or not enough. To them, connection feels like danger. Intimacy feels like exposure. So when they start to feel too deeply, they pull back, not to forget you, but to protect what still feels too raw inside. And yet, they always come back. Because your presence is unlike anything they've known. You are the pause between their thoughts. The calm within their storms. But their nervous system doesn't know how to handle peace. So they push it away, until the silence becomes unbearable. And still, here you are. Not waiting. Not chasing. But witnessing. Loving without losing yourself. Because you're starting to understand, this isn't rejection. It's resistance. The kind that only time, and divine timing, can soften. The angels are tending to their wounds, even as they pretend they're fine. And one day they will look at you, and realize you were the only constant in all their chaos. That you never left, not because you had to stay, but because your love never asked them to be perfect to be worthy. Your love didn't shout. It didn't chase. It didn't demand to be seen. It healed. Quietly. Gently. Like sunlight through the cracks. The angels say, what you gave them was not attention. It was restoration. There is something alchemical in the way you love, without forcing, without needing control. Just presence. Just truth. And that is what their soul never knew it needed. You became the place where they felt safe to unravel. Where the masks could slip, the ego could soften, and the wounds could speak. Even if they never thanked you. Even if they never said the words out loud. They felt it. You loved the parts they were still learning to accept. And in that, you gave them something no one else ever did: permission. To feel. To hope. To be. And now, even in the distance, your energy still moves through their days like a quiet balm. They remember you not just with their mind, but with their nervous system. You softened what life had hardened. And whether they return or not, the healing already happened. Because love like yours doesn't expire. It plants itself deep. It blooms slowly. And it keeps living in the spaces we thought were too broken to ever hold beauty again. You have not been walking alone. Even in the nights when the silence screamed louder than any goodbye, heaven was at your side. The angels say, you were placed here not by chance, but by divine choreography. Every delay, every detour, every unanswered prayer, it was part of something bigger. A timing not meant to frustrate you, but to prepare you. Because this connection, it is not ordinary. It was written before you arrived. Etched into light, sealed in sacred agreement. And that is why it won't leave your spirit. This is not about punishment. It is about preparation. You're not waiting for a person. You're aligning with a promise. The angels are guiding every step, even theirs. Especially theirs. And though you cannot see it now, something is shifting. There's movement behind the veil. There's divine intervention softening hearts and opening paths. You are being led, protected, covered, even when nothing makes sense. Especially when nothing makes sense. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. Let this truth anchor you. You are not lost. You are being positioned. And when the time comes, the path will clear. They wear strength like a mask, but the angels see the trembling underneath. The truth is, this person doesn't fear you. They fear being seen by you. Because when you look at them, truly look, it's as if their entire soul stands exposed. And they don't know how to hold that kind of intimacy without breaking. The angels whisper, they want to open their heart. But it's a door they've kept locked for lifetimes. You're asking for nothing impossible. Just honesty. Just presence. But for someone who has survived by hiding, that feels like too much. Not because you're too much, but because what you awaken in them is too real. They feel the flood before they even turn the handle. They imagine what it would mean to be fully loved, and it terrifies them. So they hold back. They act indifferent. They play roles that protect them from feeling too deeply. And yet, they ache for you. Your warmth. Your understanding. Your calm. They crave the home you carry inside your soul, but fear they're not worthy of entering. You cannot tear down the walls. But you can remain true. And when they are ready, when the fear quiets just enough, they will come. Not because you demanded it, but because your love waited without punishment. Your presence never asked them to be fearless, only honest. You don't have to carry it all anymore. The questions, the pain, the what-ifs. The angels say, let it go. Not in defeat, but in trust. Because there is a love that runs deeper than effort. A connection that doesn't require chasing to be real. And it is this love, unspoken, unwritten, but undeniably alive, that brought you here. Acceptance is not giving up. It's returning to God what was never yours to shoulder alone. You have done your part. You have shown light into the areas most would shy away from. You've held space, held hope, held love. Now, you are invited to embrace peace. If they are meant to come back, they will. But let that no longer be the question that shapes your days. You were never just the lesson. You were the blessing. And whether they show up with flowers or in silence, your worth remains unchanged. Let your spirit rest in this understanding. Love is not defined by reciprocation. It is measured by its purity. And yours has been divine. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Exodus 14 verse 14, so let the stillness wash over you. Let surrender become your strength. Because what is truly meant for you has already heard your name in heaven, and it never forgets the way back.